Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. The Packers would rather force Aaron Rodgers to retire than allow him to continue to bully other GMs. Perna. Very thoughtful of you, Green Bay, standing up to a bully like that. Now I'm officially changing the Antonio Brown accident counter to the Aaron Rodgers rumors and clickbait counter. We're back down to 0 days of the media making a mountain out of molehills of Aaron Rodgers news. Today, Pro Football Talk posted an article detailing why the Packers may just force Aaron Rodgers to retire rather than trade him. Wisconsin execution is the worst, by the way. Forcing a man to eat only cheese until he dies from constipation. It's why crime rates are so low there. Now, I've got a couple news nuggets from around the NFL, and yes, another video about A-God and why Green Bay may have to force Rodgers to retire other than just being utter cowards. Utter cowards. Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's good sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like your NFL news delivered to you with a side dish of idiocy. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends, manscaped.com/goodsports. And I think Manscaped needs to reclassify itself as an all-natural male enhancement product, because with its plethora of tools, nothing is enhancing your groin like Manscaped, especially the new Lawnmower 4.0. Yes, the skin-safe technology is more techy and more safety. Honestly, this tool is a work of art. Like my body after Manscaped came into my life. It's got a two-toned black finish that you can now charge wirelessly. Manscaped also added a travel lock feature so the buzzing from your travel bag isn't mistaken for something else. The Lawnmower 4.0 comes with 4 trimmer guard options for varying hair length. I go short in the summer and a tight shag in the winter to stay warm. Each time Manscaped upgrades a product, it's to increase functionality and make for a better grooming experience. So make sure you have the right tools for your family jewels by ordering at manscaped.com/goodsports. That link will save you 20% off plus free international shipping. It's a whole new balls game. The AFC West cornerback shuffle continues. The Raiders have signed former Chargers standout corner Casey Hayward. Last offseason, the Chargers signed former Broncos standout corner Chris Harris Jr. And next offseason, I expect neither the Broncos or the Chiefs to sign any former Raiders corners, because they don't have any standouts. Not since Charles Woodson, and I'm talking about the first time Woodson was a Raider in the late 90s. Look, this is actually a decent move for the Raiders at the corner position, who addressed their needs at corner by drafting 3 safeties. They should start calling their secondary the circle, because without any good corners, they're gonna have no edge. Knock on wood if you're with me. Former Chiefs tackle Eric Fisher is set to visit the Colts this week. The Colts decided to not spend a pick on a tackle, despite Anthony Costanzo retiring after the season and Christian Darrisaw being there for the taking. Now, Fisher was cut by the Chiefs after the season as punishment for getting hurt before the Super Bowl. The good news for Fisher is if he does sign an Indy, he's used to blocking for a quarterback who treats the pocket like hot lava. He's expected to be healthy by the time the season starts. The Chiefs also signed former Broncos safety Will Parks. Everyone in Denver loved Philly Will, so consider this another quarter turn on the knife Kansas City has permanently gouged into my ribs. Lions center Frank Ragnow signed a 4-year extension with the team, and I think it's safe to assume Dan Campbell truly cares about building his team in the trenches and then moving out. Ragnow becomes the highest paid center in the league, is a top 10 player at the position every year, and by a Christmas miracle is the only center on earth whose quarterbacks will tolerate sticking their hands right up against his taint, despite the fact that he's always on the Ragnow. Adam Schefter tweeted that the Packers are looking to add veteran quarterback help. If you're waiting for Rodgers to be traded, you see this as a sign Green Bay is preparing for that. If you're a bit more realistic, you realize Green Bay probably needs a third QB on the roster, especially since Rodgers isn't showing up for OTAs. Just from the standpoint of running practice effectively, this is not at all surprising. Schefter also noted that neither Rodgers nor the Packers wanted all of this info to come out, and that these reports started dropping as a result of weekly pieces of info he was hearing throughout the entire offseason.
It was an accumulation all during the offseason of just listening to people talk and observing. And I'm just telling you, throughout the course of the offseason, there was rarely a week that went by where I didn't hear something about Aaron Rodgers.
His point was that this isn't new news about Aaron Rodgers, that his unhappiness has been going on for a while with Green Bay, and this is the accumulation of many, many things occurring. Now, I can neither confirm nor deny that Adam Schefter was drinking my coffee, Benchwarmer Brew, on the Dan Patrick Show today. But I confirm he was. Don't forget the Benchwarmer Brew t-shirts available for pre-order till Sunday. All right, will the Packers simply force Aaron Rodgers to retire? That's the question being posed now. For them, it makes the most financial sense. For the other 30 or so owners who don't have a real chance at landing Aaron Rodgers, it makes sense from a strong arm perspective. If Rodgers forces his way out of Green Bay and is traded to a destination of his liking, owners lose a piece of their power. They are down one infinity stone. As any QB who hates his front office or hates whatever can finagle his way out of a franchise contract. The only thing NFL owners love more than money and getting laid despite looking like this is power. If Rodgers retires, he'd have to pay back $29.8 million, and the Packers get to show that they have the bigger biceps, even though we all know Rodgers has the better overall arm. But that move would fulfill two thirsts, money and power in one move. It's pawn to e4, the classic Sicilian defense. A surprise move from the Packers, only because the name Gutekunst sounds very German. Rodgers better be ready to play his next move like that exotic brainiac from Queen's Gambit. Here's the real reason Green Bay won't accept a bunch of draft picks and possibly even players in a trade and would prefer to force Rodgers to retire. The pressure is so high for Gutekunst to nail all of those draft picks that he'll ultimately fudge it up. Who knows how Green Bay did in this draft, but 2018 and 2019 were actually pretty solid, so I disagree that Gutekunst doesn't know what he's doing. You could maybe argue Montez Sweat should have been the pick over Rashawn Gary in 2019, but Gary got better in year 2 and is actually used more in coverage. But in his first draft, Gutekunst nailed the Jair Alexander pick and snagged MBS in the 5th. He also drafted Elgton Jenkins, who I am convinced has a full head of hair and is just permanently wearing a fake bald cap. But Jenkins has been a solid guard on the line and will probably move to center. Letting Corey Linsley go, now that was stupid. Not keeping the best center in the league for your QB? That looks bad alone, but now doubly bad after your division rival Lions made Ragnow the highest paid center in the league. Darnell Savage was a good pick, solid safety. All that said, the Jordan Love pick is so bad, everyone now puts the Packers into the category with the Texans and Seahawks of draft suckiness. Rebuilding a franchise with draft picks and trying to find your next quarterback when you should already have that guy in Jordan Love is a crippling amount of pressure to overcome. Just look at John Elway now, post Peyton Manning. NFL front offices are incredibly hypocritical. Forcing Brett Favre to leave 3 years earlier than he wanted, that's totally cool. But allowing Aaron Rodgers to leave a year earlier than when you could just cut him without a massive contract ramification. That's a crime against humanity. Giving a player what he wants, that's a no-no. The Colts let Peyton Manning walk after he resurrected that franchise and won them a Super Bowl, but that's okay because he had neck surgery and they could just draft his replacement. Why the fuck do we demand loyalty from players but give owners a pass to not have to ever be loyal to players? Players are the only reason we watch the damn game. Well, I think it's because we fans feel that we are very loyal to the players by rooting for them every week. But I think you get my point. Obviously, no Packers fan wants to see Aaron Rodgers go. I would have shit my pants had Denver traded an unhappy John Elway in 1992 after they drafted quarterback Tommy Maddox in the first round. But there's this weird thing out there that it's somehow wrong to make the best players on earth happy, to grant them their wishes or let them go when relationships have run their course. It's totally okay to let a guy go when you think he can't overcome an injury, but if that motherfucker is healthy and he's under contract, his ass is yours. We're scared of the LeBron James effect, I think, happening in the NFL. Newsflash, it's too late. Tom Brady just proved why a veteran QB knows better than a GM. He proved the value to all other QBs in having control of their future. The reason the Packers letting Rodgers go isn't okay is because they don't have a replacement, which is made more complicated because they tried to draft a replacement. Like a bad joke in poor taste too soon. Green Bay can draft a man's replacement too early, at a time when a guy like Patrick Queen could have been the difference in the postseason. But they shouldn't have to pay for that mistake? Aaron Rodgers is saying, no, bitches, it is time you pay, and the price is me. I mentioned that the Broncos did this exact same thing in 1992. Not only did head coach Dan Reeves draft Tommy Maddox, but Denver also needed a wide receiver at the time. What happened after the 92 season? Dan Reeves was fucking fired for being an idiot. That's what should have happened to a bunch of Packers front office dudes to keep Rodgers happy. Let's be brutally honest here. Running an NFL team when a guy like Rodgers is your QB in terms of personnel decisions is pretty easy. Rodgers makes up for most of your mistakes or average players on the field. He sells out merch, he fills seats, and I guarantee there are dozens of qualified GMs out there who can put together a championship team to lose in the championship with Rodgers. Pat Bowlen sent a message to John Elway by firing Dan Reeves saying, I also know he screwed up, and you make this team go. Let me fix that for you. Now, it's tricky with Green Bay since they're the one team owned by fans, but CEO Mark Murphy has to make these tough decisions, and unlike actual NFL owners, he could be fired at any time. He has that fear in his belly. It would be hard to fire him if he simply forces Rodgers to retire. Easier to fire him if Rodgers leaves and wins somewhere else, which is like wondering if you'd be drunk after taking 5 shots in an hour. It's gonna happen. The Packers traded Favre for a 3rd-round pick, and Favre wanted to play with Green Bay. It's not a bad look if you get 3 future firsts for Rodgers and some players because everyone knows Rodgers wants out. But please, take your time, Green Bay, because these videos are great for my business. And if you happen to give the Broncos another Super Bowl ring, I will forever be in your debt. I'll start calling this show the Packcast with Brandon Perna. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Click the video on the screen if you want to watch more. And BenchwarmerBrew.com. That's my coffee company, and the new Benchwarmer shirts are there now.